All right, so let's look into what we need to do to get the project files up and running. So in this SQL folder, let me make a new folder, and I'm going to call it bank. Let me look at the contents of the chapter 1 folder. And 0103. Okay, so that file has our Globe Bank database SQL. Let me open up my SQL engine. Oh. So first thing I need to do is create a database. Right. I already have the Globe Bank database created, but for this one I'm going to create a different one, and I'm going to call it GBank. So create database GBank. All right. I also need to create a user that is going to access this database. So create user, and I'm just going to call him DBank as well. DBank user at localhost identified by and I'm gonna pause it because I don't want to publish the password I'm going to use. I'm still going to give you guys the password, but I don't want to publish it on the video. So, okay, so I already created my user, and here is the DBank database. Now, just so that we're complete, because I didn't show you the entire command, but to create a user, we did the create user. And then our we did create user, and then the username at localhost identified by, and then the password. And then we did a semicolon at the end. Right. Now, obviously the password that I use for the user that I created is not password, because password is not secure. So if I select the MySQL database, actually use, it's not select, use MySQL, show tables, I need to select everything from user. Right, now that I have that, I believe the field that I need is the user column. So select user from user. And right here we have the user account that I created for the database. All right, so now I need to DBank user. Okay, so now I need to grant that user access or the privileges that it needs to access the database. Right. So we're going to say grant all privileges on, and we said dbank dot asterisk, so the dbank database dot asterisk, meaning other tables, to user, not to, and then our user, which was dbank user at localhost okay. You want to make sure you spell it properly. Grant of privileges. Okay. So now this user account, this dbank user has access, the right permissions in order to access the database. Okay. So I'm going to exit MySQL. I am going to now import the contents of the SQL database. So cd, let's go to chapter 01, cd 01 underscore 03 dash final, right? And here we have the globe underscore bank SQL that we need to import that file. So if I cat globebank.sql, this is the contents of that SQL file. So I need to be able to take this and import it straight into the database I just created. So I'm going to do sudo let me clear this. Sudo mysql -p dbank less than globebank.sql. So to run this, I need to make sure I'm doing this as a super user. Hence why I'm doing sudo mysql. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. The color scheme. I'm not finding a setting to make it larger. So anyways, so sudo mysql p dbank globe. I press enter and it asks me for my my password. And now it should have imported that data. So if I open up MySQL, sudo MySQL, show databases, use gbank, use dbank, show tables. So there it is. So it's definitely showing the tables. Select everything from pages and select everything from subjects. Okay, so we're good. All right, let's take a look at the Globe Bank folder. and public. All right, so the public one has the files that we need. All right, so now I need to copy these folders into my my project folder. Right. Which is which is going to be located inside var www html sql bank. Okay. So cp everything cp recursive, I think it's capital R, everything into everything into var www html sql bank. If I move over, I can see that now I have the public and the private folders have been copied. Okay. So now I'm going to create just a test HTML, and it's going to say hello world, just to verify that I find the right URL. So and there is my test HTML. Okay, so I'm in the right location. All right, so technically if I go into public, well, there's my globe bank. So my globe bank is working, but it's working only because I actually already have a database with the right credentials to be able to access this. In your case, when you're just uploading it, it's not going to work. That's kind of what I was trying to simulate. So in order for it to work for you, or for it to connect to the right database, I'm going to go into the, I believe it's the private folder, and open the dbcredentials.php. Right. Here, this is where we're going to update our information. So DB user, we said, what was it that we said? dbank user. Sudo MySQL. Use MySQL. Select user from user. dbank user. All right. So my user is dbank user. The password is the secret password that I entered, and now the database name. It's currently connecting to Globe Bank. I need for it to connect to dbank, I believe. So show databases. And there it is. I need for it to connect to dbank. So dbank, and I'm going to update my password. My password has been updated. I exit it. I refresh it, and good, it's still working. This is a fictitious company created by LinkedIn Corporation or its affiliates, solely for the creation of blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So it's loading properly. Let's see what happens if it doesn't have the right credentials. So if it doesn't have the right credentials, this is what happens. You cannot access it, you cannot load it, you cannot open it because it has the wrong credentials and PHP exits out with an error. So let me put the correct credentials back in there. Okay, I've updated the credentials. I refresh the page and it loads. So when you're working on yours, these are the steps that you're going to have to take in order for it to work properly, depending on where you're at in the project. So what I suggest you do is that you import the database SQL file into your database, the one that has your name on it. That way you can use those same credentials that you already have rather than creating a new one. Or you know what? Scratch that. What I want you to do is create a new database and call it, make sure it has your name and the word bank or G bank or something like that, right? Just so that you can differentiate the database for this project from the previous project that we worked on. Also create a new user and give it the proper permissions to access the database, and make sure that your page is able to connect. And then for the assignment itself, you can submit the URL, or also take a screenshot of the steps that you take and put them in a Word document. Also, in that same document, I want you to put the SQL, the commands that you put to create the database. And that's what you're going to be submitting as well.